over here and stop scrolling because we're gonna make this together. So I know I'm gonna have him over on this side. Then I'm gonna take the skewers and we're gonna dip them in glue, and you're able to kind of come in and start to attach him. You're just gonna kind of get some, you gotta have a little bit of angle on it. And you're gonna feel it go in. Okay, the first one's in. And usually I wanna do 2 or 3 of these just to make sure I'm getting it in there good. Now my next angle is we need some from the top because we need it supported everywhere. And that's why we designed these bunny heads out of foam. So they are super easy to attach to a wreath base. I'm gonna do the same thing, and this is gonna go into the top of its head. So you can see here, I went in way at the top, and now I've got 3 in there, and that may be enough. I'm gonna give it this shake test. Yeah, that's pretty good. The first part's done in the bunny's head. All right, now let's start part 2. This time our greenery is gonna be this cherry blossom bush. So once you have your pieces all torn down, we need to take and do what we call shaking hands. So that means we're gonna make friends with this spray, and we're gonna shake hands and get each piece spread out to where it's really pretty. I know that I'm gonna wanna put my bow right here in the center. So I'm gonna start working out in so I kind of get a shape developed. So we're gonna go over here in my electric skillet. My glue pot is right here on my left. I generally have that out of camera because it's not pretty. It's just over to the side, and I'm gonna take, and once I get a little glue on these, we're gonna start to press these in and shape out our design. I've got my longest pieces in, and now I'm gonna work towards the middle. Everybody gets a little glue, and then I'm putting them in to the design here, just going between the grapevine. I'm not pushing it to the back, it's going between. Now I'm gonna go, we're just gonna kind of do mirror image. What we did on the bottom, we're gonna do on the top. And I'm gonna bring that in here to the top. I love it. We have lots of design school students who love to come and create and learn how to create for stress relief and just a really fun hobby. So it's so fun when we kind of get in the zone and get to create together. I love this part. So I'm down to where I have 4 pieces left. So I'm gonna take, and we're gonna cut a little bit to go to the inside. So we're gonna take one of our pieces and just get our wire cutters and cut that in half here. So if you're limited on how many supplies you have left to make something, think about sectioning it out so you can kind of get even distribution in your design. Don't worry, okay? You can make it work. So now I'm gonna bring these 2 to the center and go right between those. Okay, and then I'm gonna give this one a little bit of a bend. We love working with things that have that nice wire in them. These are some of the small tulip bushes, and we're gonna cut these down to go in here and start adding them in. They're a great spring flower. So I'm gonna put these in clusters of 2, and then we'll take, and we will get them loaded up with the glue. Now with these tulips, could you make sure you're seeing the front of the leaves? That's one of my hugest pet peeves ever, is when the leaves are backwards. So try to make the leaves go to the front. And we'll start off by putting some down here low, and then we're gonna work our way backward up to our, what we call our transition point, where the direction shifts. Do a cluster of 3 here for fun too. And then I'm gonna put them all 3 in together. I'm giving it a good swirl in my glue. We're gonna come out here. Right, it's gonna go in there. I'm gonna start with a cluster of 2 to match this one. Now I'm gonna come up above up here. Yay, those 2 are going in right there. Now, I'm gonna do this one matching right in here. So move those floral blooms over. I have a cluster of 3. I'm gonna hold it tight. And we'll do the same thing like this right in there. Let's come up here. Come on in. All right. And then if you get a little hole, grab your Spanish moss. Right in here, I've got a little bit of hole, so I'm going to push some moss in there. It kind of creates a nice little bond with the glue and the Spanish moss. Let's put a little bit more of the cherry blossom with the greenery, and it's got a little bit of fern in it. Let's put that in next. Put a piece right here. I love that. A little short piece, and we're leaving a little space open for the bow. And in design school, we call that the bow zone. So we'll leave room for our bow zone right in there. Now I'm gonna come above. I'm gonna do the same thing. Just going on the top side of the bow zone. Yeah. All right, now we kind of have a good base set in there for us to add the tulips back here. So our clusters went 2, 3, 2. All right, let's go on the top side. And we did the 2, 3, 2 pattern up and above. And now our next step before we add any more floral is gonna be the bow, and we're gonna put it right into that zone that we left called the bow zone. It's going right in here to the middle. So I'm gonna take and grab my cable tie and just put it through a couple of pieces of the grapevine here. You don't need to go through a whole bunch. If you can keep the back of your wreath just pretty neat and natural, it's a little more appealing. to people who have storm doors or glass doors. It's hard when you first start to keep the back neat, but over time you'll get a lot better at it. Over many years I've gotten a lot better with that. Now that my bow is in the bow zone, I'm going to kind of tuck it over a little and we're going to start to fluff it up. And you need to boss it around. You got to be the boss of your bow. Be a little aggressive and layer in the tails, because we don't want to feel like, I don't want to feel like my tails are just all only at the front. I want them worked in to the design. I just want them worked in there. I love this. Bring that down. Let's bring these here. Flip this around. Oh my gosh, how cute. See how cute it's coming together, ready to put that bow in. Now I'm going to grab the last few pieces we have left as promised. And we are going to start with our greenery, and we're going to start using that first. And I want to use it in and around the bow, because that makes it feel like it's coming out of a garden or the woods, and very fresh. So I'm going to start with this one up higher. This is a pretty long stem. Trim it down shorter because you're going into that space right behind the bow, and you just don't have a whole ton of room. So I'm going to trim it down a little. And we're going to go right above. Going right above. Oh yeah. Once you do this, you're going to love it. I mean, once you start to break the plane of the bow a little bit with florals, you'll just love that. So I'm going to do the same thing. We're going to work on the outside right here. So I don't have to cut this one so short, but it's going right in behind the bow. Just going to tuck it in and then bend it. There you go. Bring it forward, and then now I've got that coming out. And oh, I've got one more piece here we had already cut. And this one I think I'll use kind of out and down in this section right here. So you can literally just go slow and layer these pieces in. They're short and they just stay tight to the bow. It's going to be a detailed finishing touch. Okay. Now I'm going to go to the inside. Same song, different verse here. I was just tearing off a little paper. Sometimes the paper gets a little bit long. And if it does, what happens? You end up putting it in your glue pot, and then you're swinging glue all over on that paper. Just trim it off. Just tear it. You don't even need anything special. Just tear it. All right, I'm going to use a little bit more right in there. So I've kind of come in between each little layer of the bow and softened it up with the greenery and the filler flowers. So perfect. Right there. Oh, look at that. We got 4 tulips left, and I think they would be super cute just to kind of tuck in around the bow. You can use them individually, meaning like 2 above the bow, 2 below. I think that would work fine. So let's kind of go with that plan. I'm going to take the first one here. I pulled the leaf up a little bit, and we're going to kind of go in. This one's kind of got this natural curve that way, so it'll go perfect right here, kind of curving over toward the bunny's head. And we'll just pop it in right in here. So I just move my bow out to the side for just a second, and then I just bring that back. Perfect. All right, so now I'd like one maybe in the middle, kind of coming right to here. So how about this one? Give it a little bit of a bend. And we'll go right above. So adorable. I'm loving this. So in the bottom section here, our shape kind of curves around this way. So automatically, I think it'd be great to have one going in right here. So I'm going to watch my leaves, make sure they are going forward and not facing backwards, and then just go right in here. And then let's do one more, just right, kind of coming out of the center. I think that's like a no-brainer. Matter of fact, we have one piece of the greenery left. Let's put that first in there, and then we'll put the tulip right on top. This is going to be just the perfect finishing touch. Right in here to the bottom. Have that kind of come down perfect. And then let's bring that tulip right out of there. I'm just going to take my ribbons and fluff them just a little bit. I love this type of color palette. I think it's just so natural. It's classic, timeless, and I'm sure that's why we always do well with it, because no matter how you change up your decor for different seasons, it's always going to work with whatever you're doing.